Well, great evening. I was going to talk a little bit about my ostomy story. I had bought a car that I was setting up for travel, excited to go and do some car life journeys. Got everything set up, and I had to wait quite a while. And the minute I got it registered, I was going to leave the next day and hit the road for adventures. It took quite a while to get the registration and things done. So I got up the morning that I'm supposed to leave, and all of a sudden, it was like when I went to the toilet, it was like passing razor blades and glass shards. The pain was unbelievable. And I was having a lot of mucus that was just flooding out. It was like crazy. So I went to the doctors and they sent me to the emergency room. And took me out, got x-rays, and they said, oh, it's diverticulitis. Here, go home, take these antibiotics, which I did, didn't do a thing. So sent me back to the emergency room again. They gave me a different type of antibiotic. Go home, take these. Didn't do a thing. I'm still doubling over, feeling like I'm passing razor blades and glass shards. So they put me in the emergency room again. And just not too long before all this happened, I told a friend of mine, I don't know how these people live with these ostomies and things. I could never do it. It's kind of like that thing, Murphy's Law, And you tell the universe, you say something and they go, oh, you think so, huh? So I'm in there and they took me in, and my doctor was going to operate because they thought I had the sigmoid diverticulitis. And so I come out of surgery, and I was in there for quite some time. And he said, we got in there and looked at the sigmoid, and there was nothing there. Well, it turned out I wound up having the very, very rare rectal diverticulitis, which there's only a 0.1% of people. Of course, I have to wind up with one that's really rare. So they had to take out quite a bit of the rectum. And, they gave me an ostomy. I came out of it with an ostomy. And they didn't do the laparoscopic. They opened me up, the big, from stem to stern. And when I came out of it, I had a difficult time healing. There was an infection that took place, and so I was having to go to wound care and packing it and doing all these things. And the surgeon says, well, in 3 months or so, we could try to reattach it. We could try. Well, I read the report on doing the surgery, and everything in there was very friable, which meant they had to give me blood, and that the sphincter muscle, one of them he couldn't repair. And so, with all of that, and then it took so long for it to heal. It finally did heal. But he said to reverse it, we would have to go in and have the major surgery again, open me up again from stem to stern, and there's no guarantee, that it's going to work, okay? So I decided I'm keeping the ostomy, okay? Now there are actually benefits to it, believe it or not. Especially if you're doing car camping and things. I don't have to look for a toilet, So that part, is easy. It's always easy, if you have to go, urinating is easy. You can find a way to do that easily, much easier than defecating. So it does have an advantage to it. Okay. Now, I have to say, though, it does take a while to find the supplies that work for you. Now, I have a colostomy. In my colostomy, the stoma is flush with the skin. Ileostomies, they stick out. But the colostomy I have is just even with the skin. So at first, they were telling me I had to use the concave to push the stoma out, okay? And, I was having problems at first with it leaking and that type of thing, trying to find something that would work. Well, I finally found out that I have these bags that I get that are flat. They're from China. They work great, okay? They're flat and easy to put on, and they're working really well. I don't use the the ones that you open up because on a colostomy, usually the output is thicker than if you have an ileostomy. So I have the bags that are closed, and they work really well. Now, one thing I found out, you can get a stoma guard, and the stoma guards I had were smaller, and I was still having difficulty with pancaking and things like that. But I did find a place called Stomaplex where they make a stoma guard to fit you exactly, the depth and the width and all of these things. And since I got that one, I haven't had a difficulty with pancaking. Just that bit of a wider size of it, everything really work well for pancaking not to be taking place, okay? For those that don't know what pancaking is, it's when you have output and it's stuck around the stoma, it doesn't fall in the bag, okay? So, yeah. But, I don't regret having the colostomy. And like I said, I've decided that I'm going to keep the colostomy rather than going in and trying to reattach, because sometimes the reattachment doesn't work, okay? And so I just decided at my age that it's better just to keep the colostomy. And it's really, once you get the hang of it, it's very quick and easy to change. Once you get the right things that work for you, it's very fast, okay? So one of the things, though, is finding out what foods you can eat, what works for you and doesn't. You definitely don't want to have a lot of gas-producing things. So you find out what produces gas in your system, And you kind of want to, stay away from those. So yeah, one thing I find out that potatoes, not good for me. Many times potatoes will wind up causing gas problems for me. So another thing, when the bags that I get, they're really cost effective, so I can change them pretty often. Now, the one thing they don't have is a filter, so that if you get gas, you can open it up and close it. So what I do with it is the bag, when you cut your area out to fit your stoma, you keep the part that you cut out, okay? So if you get gas in your bag, you can put a little pinhole. It doesn't need to be large, just a little pin, and you can express that out, that air, and then I use half of what I cut out from there as a seal, okay? And that works really well. You can reseal the bag, and you don't have any problems with it. So, yeah. Now, a lot of times when I go to bed at night, I'll put a little pinhole in it. And that's enough that if you start having gas in the middle of the night, it's going to be easy to express that out. Okay, you're not going to have any output coming out because it's a little pinhole. But that little pinhole is enough to be able to press the bag and express the air out. And then again in the morning, if I don't need to change the bag totally, I just seal that little pinhole up. And you can find out where the pinhole is. You can feel a little bump there where you put the hole. So that works, that works. But, it's one of those things, it's kind of like when you tell the universe you've got plans and it goes, oh, you had plans, do you? We'll see about that. Anyway, you just find out and look for the benefits of something rather than the drawbacks. So the benefit, like I said, is I don't have to worry about running and looking for a toilet somewhere, okay? You don't have that problem anymore. So that's one thing that I'm really grateful for. You know what it's like when you're driving and you're doing long distance and you're going, where's the bathroom? how long, and you get to the rest area and it's closed. Oh, it's only another 60 miles till you get to the next rest area. So that's the major benefit I found with having my colostomy. But, I see a lot of people talking about they've had colitis or cancer. Another thing with the diverticulitis, and especially rectal diverticulitis, sometimes they can confuse it with cancer. The symptoms are very, very similar to cancer, rectal cancer. So, yeah, thank God. My case, it was severe diverticulitis and not cancer. So I'm very grateful for that. So on that note, I'll leave that here. Hopefully that's helped somebody. You do survive it, and it's nothing like you think it's going to be. You think it's going to be absolutely horrendous. And for the first, when I came home from the hospital, I didn't know how to change the bag. I was like, I was supposed to have home health service come out And they had a girl come out. She just changed. She didn't show me how to do it. She just, you know, want to change it in and out. And so that was a bit difficult. But again, once you learn to do it, it's super easy, super quick. Now, what I used the bags too, they're not ones that you open up. But when you take it off, you just take your bag, squeeze it like this. Everything goes out in the toilet. That's it. You just fold it up, and that's it. It's not messy. You don't get anything on you. Okay? You just squeeze the bag like this and then close it in on itself, and I put it in a little baggie and throw it away. So simple. Easy breezy. So on that note, I'll leave that here. And I'll see you online.